I'm about to tell you the home buying strategy that hasn't been talked about since the 1980s. The funny thing is, it never really went away, and only until recently people are starting to talk about it again. So what if I told you that your next home loan interest rate doesn't have to be 7%? It could be even lower, not like 6% or even 5%, even lower than 4% interest rate. And with an interest rate that low, it means you could save over $1,000 on your monthly payment. Welcome to the world of assumable loans, and I'm just now discovering how my clients could take advantage of this incredible strategy. Like, this is big, and a lot of people have called me crazy because they don't believe it's a thing. Like, one huge benefit is that instead of paying the bank hundreds of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan, you now instead mostly pay yourself. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the common questions, why it's a great strategy for the short-term and near-term goals for your financial future, and why aren't more people using this strategy? Great, let's break it down. First things first, what is an assumable loan? It's a home financing option where the buyer takes over the seller's existing mortgage terms. The key to the strategy is to assume a loan that has better terms than today's loan terms. So for example, I look for homes with interest rates around 2.5%, which mainly occurred around 2020 to 2022. Which loans are assumable, you ask? Well, the government-backed loans are assumable, like FHA and VA loans, and USDA loans are also assumable, but they're not as popular because they're more on the rural side. How do you find these assumable loans? Well, instead of combing the internet yourself, find a realtor like myself who finds homes for you. And I'm finding properties for my investor clients and even first-time homebuyer clients who just want a low monthly payment. I don't know about you, but I want to save money as much as possible, and this is a great strategy for the short term and long term. So if you're interested and this fits your description, all my contact information is down below in the description if you're interested in homes with assumable loans. But if you don't want my help and want to search it on your own, go check out withrome.com, that's ROAM.com, or you can go to assumelist.com, that's ASSUMELIST.com. Of course, even if you find a place with an assumable loan, you will eventually have to work with a state licensed realtor, and that's hopefully where I come in. Okay, back to it. Who can assume a loan, one of these government-backed loans? Well, investors, traditional homebuyers, and honestly, anyone who's looking to buy. The loan has to be assumable though, so conventional loans are not assumable. And how do you qualify for these assumable loans? Well, to qualify for one of these, you must meet the lending requirements of the current loan holder. So generally speaking, you'll need a credit score of over 650, a debt-to-income ratio of less than 50%, and enough income to take on the monthly payments. And if you just don't know where you're at financially, whether it's debt-to-income ratio, your credit score, and all that good stuff, I have people who can help you out with all of that, and all of this will be figured out before you even get into the assumable loan space. I always get asked this question: are assumable loans legal? Yes. So these government-backed loans, FHA, VA, and USDA loans, they're all assumable. You just look at the fine print and you legally have to make it available to assume these loans. So yeah, it's legal.
Real quick, before we continue, if you're thinking about moving to the Denver area, I have a 100% free relocation guide. Here, this QR code is right here. We'll take you right to it. Like I said, it's 100% free. It takes you to the biggest employers, the hospitals nearby, and also some of my favorite food places. And it gives you a good introduction to the Denver area. Make sure you go check that out. Like I said, it's 100% free, and I want to make sure you're making the right decision in where you want to go and also how you want to go about it. So if anything, you can also hit me up. All my contact information is down below in the description. Yeah, like I said, all free, lots of good stuff right there. Make sure you go check it out.
With all this fuss of assumable loans, why is finding a home with a lower interest rate important? And a good question. Simply put, a lower rate equals a lower monthly payment. Let's dive a little deeper. Check out these screenshots of a mortgage calculator. First set is a payment breakdown of a $600,000 home at 10% down payments, 30-year mortgage at a 7% interest rate, and I'm going to ignore taxes and insurance for this calculation. So this is very typical for an average home buyer looking to buy a home in today's market. So your monthly payment is $3,593 for just the principal and interest, not even including the taxes and insurance. And what's even more shocking is that at 7% interest rate, you pay a ton of interest over the life of the loan. Like, we're looking at 30 years, you'll pay over $753,000 in interest. And that $753,000 is going straight to the bank. You'll never see that money again. So how do we avoid this scenario if you're looking to buy in this kind of market? Well, let's find you an assumable loan with a lower interest rate. So let's say we find a 3% interest rate on your future home. That 3% rate makes a huge difference. And what is that difference? Well, your monthly payment for principal and interest is $2,277 per month, a $1,300 per month difference every single month. And for you investors out there, you want your money to go further, right? So you want to pay yourselves more than you want to pay the bank. So looking at the amortization, remember back on the first one with 7% interest rate, you're paying over $753,000 over the life of the loan. For at a 3% interest rate, you're only looking at $280,000 that's going to the bank, 66% less than the first option. So with a low monthly payment and more of your money going towards principal, finding an assumable loan is not only incredible short-term, but also incredible long-term. All right, with all these incredible benefits to assumable loans, why aren't more people doing these things? Well, there are 3 reasons why. So the first thing is that the general public doesn't even know this strategy exists, and this hasn't really been talked about since the 1980s. Number 2, the listing agent and or the buyer agent has no idea how to navigate the process. And number 3, the current loan holder doesn't want to have the loan assumed. They'd rather redeploy the loan from the really low interest rate into a higher interest rate. Let me explain a little bit. So like I mentioned in the example before, that $600,000 home with a 7% interest rate will have the bank earn $750,000 plus over the 30-year term. And that is exactly what the banks want. They want to get the most bang for their buck for the loan that they're giving out to these home buyers, right? And on a 3% interest, 30-year fixed loan, the bank is only earning $280,000 over the life of the loan. So instead of wanting to have the future buyer assume this old loan where they're only making $280,000, they'd rather redeploy it and have it earn over $750,000. So yeah, you're gonna have to go through the whole process of making sure that you're kicking the bank to being like, hey, we got to go through this assumable loan process. I want to acquire this loan, and making sure that they're kicked into gears so that they're not dragging their feet with the whole process.
Hey y'all, real quick, as much as I love making these videos, there's only one thing I love more, and it is making sure that you're moving to the right neighborhoods and you're making the correct move over to the Denver area. And I love helping out families. I've helped countless families move over to the Denver area, and I want to make sure that you're making the right move as well. So if you're ever curious and want to hit me up, all my contact information is down below in the description, just right there, maybe like a couple inches down. Make sure that you hit me up. You can set up a Zoom call with me. You can text me. You can even call me if you want to reach me. So looking forward to it. I want to make sure that you're making the right move.
So looking back on the whole process of assumable loans, all the hurdles you got to go through, making sure the bank does the right thing, why would a seller want to go through the hassle of an assumable loan rather than finding a buyer on the market? Well, in this market, sellers must be aware of whether their loan is assumable, because it's another way for buyers to buy your property, and you want all the help you can get to sell your home in this Denver real estate market. In fact, the median days on the MLS is 24, up 33% from last month here in the greater Denver area. So sellers might want someone to assume their loan to attract more buyers, and buyers who want to assume loans usually make it worth the seller's time and effort. So I know with my clients who want to assume a loan, they put in a full price offer or put in an offer above list price, making it worth the seller's while. And so when you put an offer, let's say $10,000 over list price, the seller's more willing to work with you through the uncertain timing of closing, the transferring of the loan, and even understanding the whole process. They're like, hey, if you're giving me another $10,000, I am all ears, especially in this market. So this video is merely to catch you up to speed on what assumable loans are. I just learned about this whole strategy, and it definitely aligns with my mission and my goals to make home ownership affordable to everyone, especially if they're moving here to the greater Denver area. So if you have any questions on Assumable loans, hit me up. All my contact information is down below in the description. I am here to help. Awesome, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you watching all the way through. And if you didn't know this already, I'm actually expecting my first baby this week. Any day now. I am super excited for it. So if you've watched this far into the video, if you have any words of wisdom for being a new parent, being a parent in general, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. So put it in the comments below. Any sort of parental advice for myself and also my wife. She's a trooper for going through the whole pregnancy and everything like that. So thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you guys next week.